What is up, everybody? Here on a half-ass podcast, we are here on the film panel, and tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we are reviewing the 1982 classic horror film to cap off our month-long October Halloween Fest review, whatever the fuck. The Thing by John Carpenter, starring Kurt Russell and Keith David, who also, by the way, starred in They Live, was also directed by John Carpenter. But, ladies and gentlemen, you all know who I am. Over here, we have your trench captain, Smith.
Hey, what's up, people?
And down here, we have the author, the editor, the creator, the end-all be-all of not only Walter Paisley Cafe, but Spadal, Mark Plaid.
A quote from the movie corresponds with my technical situation right now, which is, gotta be fucking kidding.
Now, I watched this movie for the first time just last week, man, when I was preparing for this review. And holy shit. And I know I say that for almost damn near every review. But oh my God, I am really mad at myself for not watching this movie years. And to my defense, I'm pretty sure my mom had this movie on when I was a kid. I just don't remember watching it. But to my knowledge, I have not seen this movie up until last week. And holy shit, I'm really mad at myself for not fucking watching this movie years sooner. I mean, I was this movie. I mean, we're going to talk about it obviously, but just to give you guys a little picture, to give you guys a little mental note of this. You had all the elements. You had the sci-fi element. You had the horror element. You had the action element. And the one thing I always have to complain about especially when it comes to horror movies, is character development. Having us being involved with the characters, caring about the characters. Well, guess what? This movie actually did it. This movie actually fucking did it. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to hand it over to Smith. And Smith, I want to ask you, man, what was your first reaction after watching this movie for the first time after a while?
After all, yeah. I think the first time I watched it, it was like 5 years ago. But watching it again, and I watch this one pretty regularly. I'm kind of like that. I'll watch the same movies over and over. New movies too. I like new stuff, but if something's good, it's good, And The Thing is one of those things that is really, really good. So I'm watching and I'm just thinking about like how well it aged. From 1982 to now, this could come out in theaters today. Maybe like a little bit of remastering because it does, it's their older cameras, so it's not as bright or as vibrant as today's films are, but it's still like it could come out today in theaters. You wouldn't know. You wouldn't know it was filmed back then.
Facts. Mark, what about you? What was your first thought after watching this movie after a while? I'm sure you've seen this movie more than once as well.
Oh, yes. It's one of my favorite movies. I have seen it quite a few times, but I have not seen it in quite a long time, which kind of embarrasses me at this moment. I watched it today and I was like, oh man, it's been way too long. And actually the film I think is better on the latest viewing, having a few decades behind me and, sort of seeing some sort of unintentional, irony and allegory of the film, reflecting on just certain aspects of what the times could have been then, or just, I don't know, just in general, the interaction between human beings altogether, I think is timeless, in terms of paranoia and not trusting one another, and really, the hidden enemy scenario.
I love that part too, especially where you start getting that division amongst the entire group, right? Where they're like, oh shit, it's the thing is a thing, you know what I mean? It's killing people and it's becoming people, like, so once they actually start figuring out what it is and what it's actually doing, and that it could be anybody. Oh my God, dude! They got played like a fiddle. They got played like a fucking fiddle. And I was there for every fucking second of it throughout this movie. Amazing how John Carpenter was able to capture every fucking moment, damn near, of anxiety, of one person's anxiety, because they don't know what's coming next. And for someone like me that was watching this for the first time, I gotta tell you, man, I was at the edge of my seat in a lot of this too, because again, you're not seeing in a lot of horror movies anymore, especially back then, the surprise element of who done it, who done it, who done it. Because yeah, you're getting a who done it throughout the movie, but it's always one person. Now it's going from person to person to person, victim, 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 victim. I loved it. I love that aspect. There's so I'm probably sure that there's a lot of fucking horror movie directors that have actually emulated or have taken away from the Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing. Uh, but one little fun fact, by the way, I didn't know that this was actually a remake in its own, right? Like
Well, a very loose remake.
apparently, yeah, a loose remake. Yeah, I didn't know that because apparently there was this movie from 19, I want to say 62, called The
51.
Thing, 51, something like that.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
like
51. Think from another world.
of another world, yeah. But they tried to say that it was called The Thing because of the caption, right? The title card just said The Thing, and then it had under it like from another world.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, well, and what really connects the two films is that they were both adaptations of a novella called Who Goes There. The 51 was not as close to the novella, and whereas the 82 one was an attempt to get a closer um, adaptation to it. So,
Mhm.
but they did use footage from the 51 film in the 82 one film, which stood in for the footage that they scavenged from the Norwegians.
Okay,
Hmm.
and let's go to production real quick too. By the way, some couple other fun facts. So they actually shot this shit in Canada
And
and
Alaska.
yeah, and Alaska, and apparently the temperatures varied from between 40 degrees and 20 below. That's crazy. So I mean, in a way, these guys could be method actors when it came to this movie. When it came to this movie, because they were literally in the actual weather. Correct. Some crazy shit.
Yes, and when they weren't on location in uh, I believe it was British Columbia, Canada, or
Hmm.
Juneau, Alaska,
Yeah,
they were in refrigerated sets in Los Angeles.
yeah, and they had to pay. Well, the budget for this movie was 15 million, and apparently, John Carpenter didn't pay. So, like, for a lot of the budget was the cameras. Basically, the special effects was what 1.5 million with special effects. They spent a lot on
Yes.
special effects, and but they spent a lot on cameras as well because apparently you can't take the cameras from outside in the cold and put it inside, and try and film a movie. So they had to buy extra cameras for extra sets or whatever. They did a lot of shit for this movie. And another fun fact was, including Kurt Russell, none of the actors in that tie-up scene knew who was going to be
Oh,
the
really?
Thing until they actually sat down and did it. Yeah, until like right up until they did it. That was
So it was
crazy. That was
impromptu.
crazy. I didn't know that. Yeah, I was like, what the hell, man?
Hey, it
And then
works.
yeah, and then another thing is that John Carpenter also did not like this movie when it came out um, initially, which I was kind of taken back by that because I was like, when I was looking up, researching a little couple other stuff early today, they were saying that this is to a lot of people this is their favorite John Carpenter movie. And so I'm thinking to myself, like, wow, that John Carpenter didn't like them. Now, I don't know if he likes it now. I don't know what his mind is now when it comes to this movie. But when it first came out and it was getting those bad Rotten Tomatoes reviews, we know how they do. And he can't. Yeah, he was like, "Hey, man, I'm right there with y'all. This movie fucking sucks." But maybe 40 years later, he's thinking something different. I don't know. But at the beginning of this movie, I do want to kind of touch on this because at the beginning of this movie, you're introduced to uh the would you say they're Norwegian, right? The people in the
Yes,
helicopter
Yeah.
that were shooting at a dog. So they're shooting at the dog, and you're trying to think to yourself, why the fuck are they shooting at a dog? And they keep circling around trying to catch him, trying to shoot him. And then you're introduced to it like all the way up until that part with a shadow. Now, Mark, I'm sure you know, Smith, I'm sure you know that with this shadow, they had somebody that was not a part of the fucking set to play that shadow, to be that
oh, no
to act in
kidding.
that
No, I
shadow.
didn't know that.
Yeah, and
I was trying to figure out
to
who it
trick
was
everyone.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I was like, bro, that's fucking brilliant. Again, this movie, John Carpenter is a fucking dude's a fucking master, man. He's a fucking boss. He's a fucking boss. Um, but how did you guys feel about Kurt Russell's character, McCready? Like is this one of the all time? Because I'm sure we're all in unison of like this is one of the greatest horror movies of all time, or at least sci-fi horror movies. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
in terms of McCready, is he one of the greatest horror characters of all time?
What a question. I mean, like his acting is beyond reproach. We definitely don't have any porn star acting in this horror film. So
That's facts.
that's got to put him in like top 100 right there easily. As far as the best, yeah. It's too many to say.
Mark, what about you? Mark, you there? Oh, I think we lost Mark a little bit. Uh,
Well, oh no.
okay,
Okay.
okay.
Oh, son of a bitch.
It all came out at once
Can
there.
you hear me?
Yeah, it all came out at once. Pause. But yeah, you're good, Mark.
Okay, you can hear me?
Yeah,
Okay, all right. So, anyhow, okay, well, having seen Escape from New York, and although this film came later, Big Trouble in Little China, there seems to be kind of an archetype that Kurt Russell plays. Kind of a lone, rugged individual type. The type of guy many Americans think they are, but never could be. And he definitely reflects that. Because he was not in a leadership role. He was just a helicopter pilot. He was just there because it was good money, and he had a lot of time to play chess. And who was the one guy that was in charge? Oh gosh, no, it wasn't Clark. That I don't know why, because there's two guys with the name C, start with C, Clark and Copper, but neither one of those. No, I know it was something that he was named. I'm looking at the list now,
you thinking the
and
guy that was yelling at windows?
the guy with he had a gun, and the people were like, "Oh, you've been." He was the one that shot the Norwegian in the beginning from the
Okay.
window. He broke out the window and he shot the Norwegian. And what the fuck? I don't know. Anyhow, okay. I mean, I could name all the characters that I knew he wasn't. But anyway, so yeah, but he did. Well, he did. He put down. If you recall, he put down his pistol at one point and just said, "Look, I can't do this." And then McCready took over. I mean, he was kind of like the reluctant leader in this situation, but he was kind of backed into it as well. So,
Yeah,
although he played kind of a macho, rugged type, he was sympathetic as well because he had his wits about him. I mean, nobody in this nobody in this cast were dummies, and I mean by characters. I mean, all the actors are brilliant as well. I mean, if I know some of the actors, like people might like, of course. Keith David has been a longtime favorite of mine. T.K. Carter, he's not been in much, but he comes up in different things throughout the 70s, 80s, and 90s. But as far as the characters go, I mean, they're in a scientific research station. I mean, they're not all necessarily scientists. Most of them are. We don't even get exactly what the roles are, but yeah. So nobody's a dummy here, and that includes McReady. You know, he may just be the helicopter pilot, but we do get this idea, right? I mean, he's probably pretty good at chess. You know, even though he lost against the computer, you know. But hey, it was a computer.
That part was funny too.
So yeah. So I think as that type of character, right? Yeah, he dumps the booze in the. Rambo is kind of fun in a very ironic, hate watch sort of way for me. But Rambo does. It was pretty one dimensional. Whereas Kurt Russell plays a tough guy that's got depth. And yet they don't have to play a lot of time trying to establish that. But that was goes back to Carpenter's brilliance. Is that the guy knows how to communicate certain things about characters and situations with just glances, with just sentences. There's not a
Yep.
lot of exposition because it isn't necessary when you know how to visually tell a story.
And he doesn't the one thing I love about John Carpenter too is that he doesn't have to make the music loud. You know what I mean? Like the music does not have to define the scene. You know what I mean? Like you can subtly play the music. Like if you notice throughout some of his movies or a lot of his movies is that he just subtly plays the music in the background and you clearly know what the
Oh,
music is, but it's not defining that moment. It's just adding to the scene that he's playing the song, the score in. You know what I mean?
oh! Did you notice? Did you probably didn't because but I got excited because I didn't know this. In fact, probably the last time I watched this, I didn't know who this was. But the composer of the score was Ennio Morricone, the same guy who did the music for the Man with No Name trilogy.
Really?
Yeah, Fistful of Dollars for a few dollars more, and Good, Bad, and Ugly.
Ugly.
Yeah, I was like, holy shit! But that just goes to show, where John Carpenter's roots lie. So yeah, I thought it was pretty cool because I mean, John Carpenter's a composer himself. He did. I mean, he's of course, probably his most famous composition is the Halloween music. I mean, that was him.
Oh yeah, and many variations of that score he has done since then, since
Yeah.
1978. Um, but I want to move on to the some of my favorite parts of this movie because as much as we talk about kill counts in horror movies, well, this one's got a lot of them. This one's got quite a bit. I thoroughly enjoyed the kill count. I thoroughly enjoyed every single kill to me meant something, which is another reason why I say this movie is just the icing on top of the cake. Every kill meant something. Every moment meant something. There's not a dull moment in this fucking movie at all. Um, at the beginning, it just starts running. This whole story just starts running from the jump, and that's one thing I love about it. But one of my favorite scenes, if not my favorite scene of this movie, is you remember when old dude that old guy, right? Again, it's been a week since I've seen it, so I'm really bad at names when it comes to the movie. But that old guy that he's sitting there and he has the things he's got the jacket on and he's kneeling in the middle of that
Oh yeah,
area
yeah.
and yeah, and he becomes a thing in his hands. He comes up in his hands, and it's the thing's fucking,
He starts
fucking
screaming.
tentacles or whatever. And he starts screaming, and it's that to
Yeah.
me. I know we're not at the favorite scene part, but I mean, we could tell we could say our favorite scenes right now if you guys want to. But that right there is my favorite scene of the whole fucking movie. Like that was fucking. I was like, wow. And the reason why it's my favorite scene is not because I'm thinking like, oh, this is like the best scene and it's a heroic moment. No, 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 no. When that part happens, that's when I'm like, okay, now I know what I'm in for. Now I know. Like once you think you've seen it all, once you think you know what's going on, and that part happens where he just starts he opens up his mouth and then he just starts screaming, and then you see the fucking. I'm like, all right, okay, this is a different kind of fucking like he's going. This is balls to the wall. Creatively, this was balls to the wall. But
Well,
you know what? Hell, go ahead, Mark.
I was just gonna say that particular scene is iconic because it was used in the trailers for the film, and
Mm.
especially it was in the shorter trailers where that was almost all you got to see was just him, holding his hands up and screaming and the steam coming out and everything. Yeah, just a deeply haunting scene.
I look. I got to go back and watch the trailer because I'm a sucker for trailers, as you guys already know. But uh, yeah, I got to go back and watch that trailer. But Smith, what was your favorite scene of this movie?
Hmm. My favorite whole scene was pretty much the dog in the kennel when it becomes that like wall of flesh and then kills the other dogs. I mean, it's super fucked up. And then I know we haven't talked about special effects other than how much they spent on it, but like for the time, 1982, the way they got things to look, especially in that scene, it's like you can't even get that today. Well, without
No,
CGI, it actually looked like real flesh. What was the other movie we talked about where they used pig guts? Was that Cannibal Holocaust?
yeah, that was Cannibal Holocaust. Yeah.
Do you guys know if they did anything like that for this?
I
All
don't know. I think all the effects were actual like props, but it was made to look super duper real because the only thing I do know about the special effects is that the cast was made. They had to make it look as real as possible, so there was no like green screen or anything. So all the special effects was like real props, and it just
yeah,
made the cast super uncomfortable.
but yeah, mind you, this is coming in at where the 80s was really starting to rise with practical effects. And they, in fact, I think that was because this film was panned by critics in the beginning. But if you knew film critics back in the early 80s, and then of course, even continuing onward, where there's moral panics and just a real slant from the like Christian right and all these things. I really think that the reaction by these critics is just this sort of moral like, oh, it's so gory and why do they have to do that? It should just be the suggestion. And they fail to recognize how you can show everything and yet still imply much more. But yeah, and as far as these effects go, from what I did read just recently, um, I don't think any. It did say that there was food and chemicals and rubber used. So, but
Oh,
there was no CGI. Nobody knew it. CGI might as well have been like cantaloupes, grapes, and I don't know, intestines. Like there was nothing. That didn't. I mean, you saw the chess game he was playing. Now we could have 50 of those in our pocket. So computers weren't able to do, or what's his name? Blair's simulation of how the whatever uh, the entity would take over the entire planet within a few years. Yeah, not exactly crack shot graphics we got going on there. This was all practical.
Mark, I do want to ask you though because Smith and I were talking before we went live about the that era, and we were thinking that it was more of like pretty much angry moms that were review bombing, fucking pretty much review bombing fucking the thing. And we were trying to figure out what was that act that was going on in the 80s and 90s. Was it like the parents act or was it like a mom's act that was like this
Well,
movement against the entertainment industry?
I mean, by I would say sometime around anywhere because there was the PMRC, but that was about music. The Parents Music
Hmm.
Resource Center, which was led by Tipper Gore, Al Gore's wife. But there was also a lot of moral panic uh, coming from the 700 Club and Pat Robertson and Jerry Falwell, a lot of this religious white right sort of moral panic, and then there was the drug war that was going on too. So just all of these very strict ideas of, oh well, and that's the thing. I mean, this film is a great allegory for what was going on back then because there was the Cold War was getting reignited, and people were being worrying about communism. And if you really think about it too, the creature, because Soviet communism was looked as this entity that wanted to homogenize the planet, make everyone the same, and wanted equality everywhere. Well, a creature that would just pretty much be everything that is alive on the planet would have the same thing. In the 50s, we saw it with Invasion of the Body Snatchers. So we're kind of seeing this, but not only that, I don't think this movie was necessarily worried about communism directly. I think it just sort of reflects the times as well. But I also just think that, yeah, since the Christian right were worried about Satan, this is about the time Dungeons and Dragons was the devil's game, and and then heavy metal music, it was the devil's music, all this stuff. That would, again, well, who's the devil? Where's the devil? What's the devil? It's always the hidden enemy, the enemy within. Is it communism? Are these people communists? Are they Satanists? Who are they? Where are they? Who is it? Could be anyone. It could happen anywhere.
So with the thing, like, all right, I just don't know. Like, I'm still trying to wrap my head around why they, like, how this was such a badly reviewed film at first, and then people ended up loving it. Like, I don't know. It's weird to me. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe we'll never know. I don't know.
Well,
But Mark, what was your favorite part? What was your favorite scene in this movie?
well, mind you, I saw this pretty early on. I did. I think I either saw it as a second run film in movie theaters, or I saw it very quickly on uh, VHS. But so wait, I'm sorry. What did you say again? What was that question? Oh, I'm losing myself.
I thought I was the high one. I
No,
said,
just old.
what was your favorite scene in this movie?
Oh, okay. So that, yeah, that, and since then to this day, it still has that effect on me. It's got to be the scene where the guy who they thought was having a heart attack, and
Oh,
Copper was defibrillating him. I mean,
oh man,
just that,
yes.
just like that blam blam events, blam. His fists go through the fucking corpse, which bites his hands off. He holds his hands up. People are screaming and running around, and McCready has to set it on fire. And so while the fire is going, and they're worried about the paste burning up, old dude's head comes off and and slithers under the fucking desk. It becomes like some kind of upside down head spider creature. And that reaction, that line, you've got to be fucking kidding. Just, I mean, nobody said that better. How could they have done? No, that was perfect. That was just a perfect. That is my absolute favorite scene in any film I have ever seen.
Really?
Any film.
Whoa,
Yes.
whoa, 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 whoa.
Yes.
Rewind, rewind. You say that's your favorite scene of any film?
Any film, yeah. I just
Oh, all right, Mark.
nothing
All
affected
right.
me. Like nothing in any movie has affected me quite like that scene has affected me. It just stuck with me so hard.
All right. Kind of explain why that one sticks out more than any other scene. Why that is your favorite scene of any film.
Well, just the creativity, the imagination that went into it. Just, I mean, it was one thing to have a creature sort of turn into this mess of blob and tendrils, and the the bravery that it took. It's like, look, this creature can turn into anything. Basically, all of its cells are individual cells working not only in like working in cooperation, but as individuals as well. I mean, so much can happen there, but just the imagination that it took off. I mean, I almost want I almost hope that the writers are like, all right, you think this, like, okay, his head falls off, and then he's like squirming, like, and then no, that isn't it. He's not just going to squirm. His tongue is going to come out, and he's going to grab out of the chair and then pull himself under the desk. Okay, that's not the enemy. He's not just going to roll back out. No, he's going to grow eye stalks and then spider leg. I'm just like, I'm like, just holy shit, because just, I mean, and the way it was shot, the way the actors reacting, it really put me in that scene, because I was just, I would be losing my goddamn mind for real if that were happening to me.
Look, man, I was right there with you, man, watching that scene. Like, but again, this wasn't the only scene where I was like, holy shit. Like, throughout this entire movie, I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, because when I turned on the movie and when I decided to watch it last week, I was not expecting it. I was expecting, okay, like somewhat of a slow burn. No. Dude, I'm saying for like an hour and a half. You know what I mean? Like, that's pretty much what it was. In all positive ways, obviously. But in terms of the special effects, man, to go back to that, the filler, like, bro, the special effects in that scene alone was just fucking bonkers. And again, going back to that tie-up scene too, where they had him tied up in that room, like, that shit was fucking nuts. Where I think he ate windows, right? Where the thing ate windows and fucked him up. That shit was nuts. That shit was crazy. And like, I was kind of waiting on old dude to die anyways, but for him to just start fucking when they were doing what was it doing, the blood test, right? Or whatever it was called.
Yeah, where they were, you mean?
Yeah, and that shit flew out of his fucking hand, and then old dude just started becoming, and then he ate fucking. Did he eat windows or did he ate them? Right? It's been a week.
Windows
I remember Windows got fucked up.
Well, right.
That was probably my favorite. Between him and Childs and what's his name, McCready, were probably my three favorite characters in this movie. I mean, Clark was cool. Clark was all right, man, but we knew he was gonna die. And for someone and again, I mean, they make you like these characters even though you know they're gonna fucking die.
Yeah.
But what? Exactly. And this is another movie that we reviewed. I believe the first one was which one was the other one where they killed a dog in it? God damn it, Toxic Avenger, right? Did they kill a dog in that movie?
Are we talking about Green Room?
No. The Green Room? They killed a dog in Green Room too?
They killed
That's right. They killed dogs in Green. Yeah.
All right.
So
well, the last one is not clear if it died or not, but probably.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, this movie, man, they did it. They did it. I was shocked that this was actually tolerable back in the 80s, man. Very, very surprised. But it was good for
the movie did get panned.
That's true. That's true. I keep forgetting that. That's true.
Right. I think another thing about that movie, because now, mind you, I mean, time wise, the movie is still it's there's a transition there. Remember, I think it was just last show where I said that back in the 70s we had a lot of films that were pretty bleak. Or it might have been, I don't know if I said that here. Might have been, I don't know. I talk about movies so much, it just might have been a conversation I had.
Same.
But either way, okay, so we're looking at where films are bleak, and then definitely by the mid 80s, we got more of the happy endings returning. So, and this movie is bleak.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about how they wrap up the end,
yeah.
I mean,
I was going to get to that, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Maybe I could save it, but because
no.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I was just gonna say because there is a point where all the surviving characters up until that point realize that they're doomed. And that's when the generator goes out. Then they're just like,
Mhm.
okay, the generator, and then what was it? Clark or somebody said, well, the generator's gone. And then he's like, "Oh, what do you? Yeah, blah." No, it's gone. It's just completely fucking gone. So there's just no fixing it. There's no generator to be fixed. That's it. And then it was McCready that just said, "Well, yeah, yeah, we're all gonna die, but we got to make sure that this creature doesn't just freeze and wait for the rescue party and then start the process all over again." And so I mean, these guys set their minds knowing they're gonna die, but knowing that they're gonna try to save. They're gonna save the world as claustrophobic and seemingly small as this movie is. It's actually about saving the world in the end.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah, and it pretty much leaves us that it's probably not going to be saved, but they tried. That's why it's so damn bleak. I mean, and that's another thing. I don't know if John Carpenter, because we just talked about how, the way, which film was it that I was disappointed in the way? Oh, it was Midsommar, where the black character of the central characters was killed first. So in this
Mhm.
film, you've got no. What I thought was an interesting situation was, yeah, you've got McCready and Childs.
And Childs,
A
yeah.
white guy and a black guy. They're the last two living characters we see. However, T.K. Carter's character, what was it, Knowles, the guy that was the cook. You don't really see what happened to him. He just kind of disappeared. So and he was like one of the two black characters. So I don't know if Carpenter set out to subvert anything intentionally, but again, that was another thing that was really unusual for films back then to have that because that situation was a lot different. It wasn't just one guy. It was just like two guys and maybe no, mind you, these aren't really even necessarily survivors. They're probably doomed
Yeah.
regardless. But they're the
But we'll
last ones
never
we
know.
see. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's the part that I really wanted to get to because I was like, there's all right. Remember throughout the movie, or at least in like the first act of the movie, he's doing these recordings, right? He's going over, he's doing these recordings. He's talking about, how they don't trust each other anymore, and blah blah blah, whatever, right? Where does that go? We don't even know the purpose of the recordings after this movie. Now, again, to me, that's not a flaw. Normally, what this I don't know. Maybe I'm just being biased because the movie was just to me this movie was fucking awesome, and maybe I'm just being biased to ignoring the fact that that is a plot hole. I don't even know,
Wait,
but
what are you trying to point
but
out as a plot hole?
but does it not a plot hole? I'm just saying like I don't think
Oh,
it's. I'm just saying, but my whole thing is like where do you guys land on just in terms of theories, where do you guys land on the ending? Like, do you guys think uh that the thing got him? Do you guys think they took care of it? Do you guys think that maybe McCready or Childs is the thing?
It's my opinion that they got it, but they're gonna freeze to death anyways. Which
Ooh.
there was nothing out there
Ooh.
unless they made it to the Norwegian place. But didn't they torch that one too? Or
yes.
no?
Yeah.
Yeah, they torched
Yeah.
it. Yes, that's it. You're in Antarctica, and it does work out with reality too because during the winter months down there, which is the opposite from up here, so summer months here, they're it's so bad you can't bring a plane out for about 6 months or a boat. So there's about 3,000 people who stay on the continent all winter. They're completely isolated. You got
Yeah.
Jesus
communication
Christ.
some days, but you cannot get there. Yeah.
And
Jesus
they
Christ.
established the time when McCready, after the Norwegian was shot, I believe, and McCready says, this is the first fucking week of winter. Like, holy shit, we're in for a long one. Well,
Six months, man. So, just by curiosity, like, how does it get so? Like, is it just because like the winds, like you have like the wind and the fucking ice and snow and all that
Yeah,
shit?
I think it's like because colder air is more dense, so lift doesn't work as well. So I don't know. Maybe that's why you can use a helicopter. I don't know if that was all, with science in mind, the way they filmed everything.
Yeah, I don't. It might even have something to do with the jet engines, the way they take in everything, and as opposed to like you're using rotors in a helicopter and sort of a different mechanism. But this is just all speculation, Yeah. But I mean, all I can think of is the vapor trails that that planes leave. They're already shooting out ice as it is. Well, then again, I don't know. I mean, if we're talking about planes, what's that?
It's it's not ice. It's just air that's
ice.
Water that's become condensed or whatever. So it's like clouds, basically.
Yeah. Anyone watching this, correct us in the comments. Damn it! Let us know you're out there and feel free.
None of us fly
us.
Planes.
Yeah. We would like to know.
But the whole Antarctica thing, which I think makes this movie so good, is they really are isolated. Like it's not like in slasher films, it's like, okay, if she booked it now out of this cabin in the woods, she could make it. She's a good runner. She could make it to a gas station on the side of the highway in like 3 hours.
Eventually you'll get
here. It's
somewhere.
Like there's nothing. There's nowhere to fucking go. It's you and the thing.
You can't call nobody or nothing, fam.
And I think the implication of the Antarctic station, they always said 1,000 miles from nowhere. That makes me think that they're 1,000 miles inland. Like maybe it's hard for us to wrap our mind around, but Antarctica's a whole fucking continent. So,
well, where the
country, it's a whole fucking.
The U.S. base is sort of on a beach, but in the winter the ice freezes up so much that they basically are 1,000 miles inland because you can't bring an icebreaker through that.
Oh yeah,
no way.
I believe it does it get colder than the North Pole. There's some. I mean, well, either way. I mean, the difference is there's land on the South Pole and it's just oceaned over on the north or whatever. But
I don't know if it gets colder or not. That's a good question. It's probably about the same. They're both pretty fucking cold.
So
again, feel free to correct me in the comments, people.
So Smith, you're thinking that they froze to death, regardless.
Definitely. First week of winter. I mean, like you can think that they survived, but maybe they were. I mean, they're both pretty hardy gentlemen to make it this far, right? But there's no fucking way. They burned down the whole thing. They had nothing left. Even that little cabin, that little shed where they kept the doctor for a while. Did that get burned down? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So. Yeah, there's nothing.
Well, and this goes back to Smith's theory, and my extension on Smith's theory that okay, they did get it. So,
you're gone, Mark. Ooh.
It's all gonna come at once. That's what she said. All right, I guess Mark's mic is out. I'm not sure, but yeah. Look, man, I think in movie world, I look. I would agree with you if it was real life, Smith, on them freeze to death. But in the movie world, I think that we could be looking at ourselves at a Predator situation, right? Like remember in the beginning? Not beginning. The first Predator movie. The helicopter comes in. Oh, we came out of nowhere. We got you. Yeah, I think we could. In movie world, if we ever got a sequel to this movie, that would be the outcome of the first of this movie. It would be McCready and fucking Childs get rescued, and Nas, who Mark mentioned earlier, who we didn't get to see die or whatever the fuck. I think he froze to death. That's what I think.
Did we really not see that?
I don't, because because now that he mentions it, I mean, again, it's been a few days, but I don't remember seeing his death. Now that Mark's mentioned it, but then again, he was one. I think it was him and it was that one other character. It was him and one other character that I wasn't really paying attention to, that I didn't really like
It was the two
notice
cooks,
whether
right?
they were, yeah, because they're
They're
both, I
smoking
think they're both
weed.
cooks. Yeah, and I was just like, oh yeah, because the other guy was the other guy became the thing. Yeah. So, yeah, so I think Nas froze to death, and then the other two, they got rescued or whatever the fuck.
Or he was still in the building and he blew up. Maybe they just forgot about him. He just smoked enough weed, passed out, and didn't even know shit was happening.
Passed out and then what a death! What a fucking death! I
But
think we just wrote Nas' death right there. So that's you know what, here on Hap, that's how Nas dies. All right, just letting y'all know that.
it's canon.
But let's get on to the grades, man. I don't, again, hopefully Mark can come back so we can get his grade. But
Yeah, I think he sent us a text.
oh, you did.
Yeah,
But
he's out.
oh, internet's out.
Oh, that's old.
Oh no. But so I'll start off this time. with my grade. And when it comes to The Thing from 1982, I'm gonna have to give this movie an A plus. You already know I had to give this movie A plus because John Carpenter, to me, and this is another movie that I'm glad I can put into my horror genre fucking scrapbook or whatever the fuck, or wish list or whatever, and just say, look, this is one of the best. Now, I heard people say that this is one of the best for so many years, and I never really paid attention to The Thing. I'm just going to be completely honest. I never paid attention to The Thing until now, until I actually sat down, watched this shit, and now I'm like, okay, now is it in my top 5? No, but is it in my top 10? Yes. Most definitely, because this movie has everything. It had the action, it had the horror, it had the sci-fi, it had the character development, it had the special effects, it had the blood, the guts, the gore, all that good stuff. It has some alien stuff in there as well, a little bit. Some of those special effects. Going back to that defibrillator scene that Mark was talking about, that was his favorite. Go back to where that stomach, where it was that the thing was in the stomach and it was going everywhere and all that. Dude, that was some freaky shit, man. That was some. I've never seen anything like that in a horror movie. I've never seen anything like that. Period. On screen. Again, the closest thing was probably Alien, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I gotta give this movie an A plus, bro. Like it was the whole 9 yards and more. Kurt Russell was the fucking cherry on top, man. You mean to tell me you get a guy like Kurt Russell and put him in a horror movie, bro? The way he pulled it off, because I know that he's worked with John Carpenter before, and I think if there's one complaint I can say a little bit about the I guess the so-called, not necessarily relationship between John Carpenter and Kurt Russell, but they collaborated on numerous occasions throughout the 80s. With Escape from New York, Big Trouble in Little China, and as well as The Thing. I feel like now that I've seen all 3 of those movies, because The Thing was the last one, was the missing piece, the missing movie. Now that I've seen all 3 of those movies, I kind of feel like Kurt Russell plays the same character in those 3 movies. Now, don't shoot the messenger. I'm just saying that's just how I feel as of right now. Maybe I might feel a bit different later if I go back and rewatch Big Trouble in Little China, or if I go back and rewatch Escape from New York. But for right now, I feel like Kurt Russell kind of plays a little bit. Now, again, I still love his character. I still love McCready in The Thing. I still love his character in Big Trouble in Little China. I still love his character in Escape from New York. But that is just one little small nitpick I have with his collaboration with John Carpenter. I believe he did one more too, which I think it said was like Elvis or some shit, but I didn't see that one, so I can't really say anything about that. But Smith,
was he in Uncle Hotep?
was he in what?
Uncle Hotep.
Bubba
or whatever.
Hotep?
Yeah, Bubba
I've
Hotep.
never seen it.
Is that a
That's
John
with Bruce
Carpenter film?
Campbell.
Okay. That's a good one too, though. We got to bring that one up sometime.
Oh yeah. I haven't seen that one in a while either. Yeah, I love Bruce
Yeah.
Campbell.
So Smith, I want to know your grade for The Thing, and what?
I think this is going to be the highest graded film. I can already tell Mark's going to give it an A plus. I won't
I was
think
just
about
gonna
it.
say, there's not gonna be any surprises coming out of me. You know, I've just been gushing about this film since before. You know.
I mean, you got your favorite scene of all time. The black guy didn't die. I think doing for you. not to spoil your
Actually,
whole.
no. Wait, we actually, Mark, while you were gone, Smith and I wrote the death of Nas in for you. All right, you ready? To
Oh
hear
really?
it?
Okay. All right.
Smith, go ahead and tell him.
Yeah. So he smoked so much weed that he passed out and he just blew up in the building. That's how he goes.
Boy, that's anticlimactic for Null, but you know, he wasn't really a big part of the film anyway.
No,
right?
it was. It's supposed to be an off-screen kill. You know.
Right. Yeah, it's just as good as any, right? Yeah.
That's the lost end credits where he wakes up and he's like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, there we go. You know, if we got some sort of crazy billion out there to give us the money, you know, we could make that sequel where, you know, Niles wakes up like, what the fuck happened? Wait a minute, why am I alive? The sun's out.
It'll be a Weasel moment from Suicide Squad. You know, it'll be a post-credit scene, and all of a sudden you see everybody froze to death, and all of a sudden you see Nas just walk out there, you know, joint coming out. Well. Oh shit!
Yeah,
all right,
or Knowles just happened to be somewhere where it was heated for the next 6 months. We don't know, right? Right? You know, we're riffing here. Why not?
Yeah, as far as not John Carpenter. Who's the other guy? The actor, main one.
Kurt Russell.
Yeah, Kurt Russell. As far as his thing compares with the other John Carpenter films he worked on, you know, the best actors usually play the same character. It's just how it is. Like, I know you guys like Keanu Reeves, right?
Oh
yeah, but I don't think he's one of the best actors, though.
No, well, definitely not. But he's good at what he does.
Yeah,
I think he sucks, but at least he can do both things. And it's like like Bruce Willis. Do you really want to see him in anything other than an action film, playing a badass?
Well, you know, he
can do comedy. He can do comedy.
Yeah, he can do comedy.
Moonlighting. Yeah, Moonlighting was my first introduction. I wasn't an avid watcher of that show. I think it conflicted with some other thing I was doing. But yeah, I mean, that was a really funny show. So to see him in Die Hard was a surprise, yet it was kind of a break from what had been going on in the 80s. So he came in, he turned out to be a different kind of action hero. Well, even Keanu Reeves did, really, with Speed. You know, where you think, oh, wow, yeah, he's pretty much a stereotype there. It's like, well, you know, given the context of the times, he was kind of unusual. You know, when
because you're like the guy from Bill and Ted.
yeah. But I mean, the character himself and everything just had a different angle. You know, because right then it's like, okay, we only had like the archetype was, you know, was Schwarzenegger and Stallone and like maybe even Chuck Norris. You know, things like that.
Those are the big three right there.
Yeah, Bruce Willis and Keanu Reeves were not any one of those. You know, so. But,
okay, so bad example.
Well, no,
let's say Chuck Norris. You know what I mean, though. Or
I'm about to say, please don't say. Just as long as you don't say Dwayne Johnson, I think we're in the clear.
Oh yeah, the comedy action thing. Or who's the guy from Ryan Gosling? He's always a broody, like kind of badass guy. Like that's it. It's just what he does, and he's good at it. So you know, I wouldn't give him too much shit for his acting career based on that. At least not Kurt Russell. He's good.
No. I was just saying that that's just a nitpick that I had. That it's just weird that he plays essentially, loosely the same kind of character in
Yeah,
all
because
three of those movies.
doesn't he pilot a helicopter into New York?
Yeah.
Glider.
Oh,
It was,
glider.
yeah,
Oh
yeah, it was,
yeah,
yeah. It was, yeah. It didn't have an engine at all. However,
right.
I just read on Wikipedia that Russell was the last person cast for this film, and he
No
was not the
way.
first. He was not the first choice. Although Russell was kind of involved in sort of developing the film, like via the screenplay and things like that. Who was it that they were looking at? Uh, oh yeah, Christopher Walken was one that they were looking at. Nick Nolte
No
was
way.
another, and there was a third. Either way, I don't know. Given at the time, I think it kind of made sense. I mean, if you think Christopher Walken, um, he was, I mean, 1982, I think was also the same release year, about the same year like the Dead Zone came out, and then he was in the Deer Hunter, and so yeah, it was before he became the sort of persona that Christopher Walken became. That was hilariously lampooned on Saturday Night Live. But but yeah, I mean, I don't know. For me, it's like, who could forget? No, was that Saturday Night Live? No, or was yeah, it was there. He did when he would host and do the Continental, or there was that scene where Tim Meadows was a census taker, and he was interviewing Walken, and Walken was giving him these really bizarre answers. Oh, if you guys haven't seen that, I'll have to find the clip and show it to you. It's just, it's Walken esque to the T, just. But yeah,
Okay.
but surprisingly, although Carpenter had worked with him before, he didn't envision. And yeah, he was also thinking about casting Donald Pleasance in this film, but he thought that he
That
would
would have
have
been
been
fucking
too.
awesome.
Yeah, and Carpenter's justification was, oh, he would have been too recognizable, whatever that means. And I'm not saying that, that doesn't have a meaning. I'm just saying that that could say a lot of things. But yeah, Donald Pleasence didn't make it in this one, which would have been a trifecta for him too, because he was in Halloween and Escape from New York as well.
Facts.
So
Facts. Uh, so Smith, do you have anything else on your to add to your grade? I guess.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, not really. The highest graded film on the panel ever, maybe.
Yeah.
Assuming
We
assuming Mark's grade. I mean, we
we've had
haven't been there yet.
we've had a couple all A pluses before, right? I think.
I don't think so. We came close
No.
last time with
What was that? What was
Eraserhead.
that? Isle of Dogs. Isle of Dogs was all A pluses.
Oh, was it?
Oh, it
Okay.
must have been. I know
Compare
it
this
was.
to
I
Isle
think
of
it might have
Dogs.
Yeah, I
right.
think Isle of Dogs so far. But Mark, I guess you let the cat out the bag already. Your
Yeah,
grades are
yeah.
A
Well, yeah.
plus.
No, no. I mean, to summarize my reasons for it, yeah, definitely my favorite scene in a film. But today's viewing that I did of it, just reinforced my love for this movie, and watching it with the eyes of someone who's just a cinephile movie junkie, where you see how directors convey a story, and how characters are revealed and things like that, and how Carpenter is just, you know, I mean, he got panned mostly, I think, for the outrageous gore in the film, whereas the critics, who clearly weren't good at their jobs, couldn't see past that and just see the subtle things about the film. The way things were so masterfully communicated by people's actions and by the scenes that were shot, and the images rather than just blatant exposition or just overdone dialogue that can sometimes happen in you know films that are considered to be shit. Where if they can't get past the sensational actions of it, then these critics, I don't honestly, I'm like, well, you kind of like lose your position to be able to judge anything. So just yeah, point for point, this film just really does it for me. Uh, in so many ways. I think there was so much consciousness on the director's part. I think everybody, was participating in this film. And the one thing I like to mention about this film too is that, uh, Wilford Brimley, being in this film, it's like, that's a young Wilford Brimley, but but
Yeah,
I think I got
because doesn't he usually have his mustache?
yeah, that's what he's known for, the walrus mustache. But yeah, he's clean shaven in this one. Yeah, but still look kind of old. Who knows? I don't know how old he was in this one. But I think Cocoon made him an old man for the rest of his career. But just casting him as that. But either way, I can't say anything bad about this film. And I know Corn wasn't shitting on it, but I mentioned earlier about Kurt Russell playing this same kind of character. But I mean, when I like the character, that doesn't matter. It's kind of like people's criticism of the Ramones. Oh, so many of their songs sound the same. I'm like, well, if it's all one song, well, by golly, I like it. So yeah, A plus all the way for John Carpenter's The Thing.
Well, like I said before, man, it's A pluses all across the board from us here on the film panel with The Thing from 1982 by John Carpenter. And look, guys, it's another masterpiece by this guy. Now, everybody knows how I feel about the original Halloween movie. Now you guys know how we all feel about The Thing, another John Carpenter fucking classic. Now,
Yeah.
before we get out of here, I want to ask you guys something. Because maybe we can probably make this a task later on down the road. But there is a 2011 movie called The Thing. Now, I don't know. Now, Smith, you say you have it, so I'm sure you know more about the movie than we do, although you haven't seen it yet. But
I've seen it.
You have seen it.
Yes, I have.
Okay, so I do have a question for you then.
Mhm.
Is it related to the original? Is it a sequel or is it a reboot? Is it a remake? What is it?
It is up and up, straight up a prequel. It's not a reboot. It is connected to this
Oh.
film. It is the story of the Norwegians.
Hmm. Oh, okay. Awesome.
Is it any?
Well-
Is it any good?
Yes, it is not quite the masterpiece, but it's definitely worth a watch. I liked it, and
Okay,
really?
like I said, the bar was pretty high. Although I didn't go in with extremely high. In fact, I didn't really know where this movie. They didn't really advertising it one way or the other before I first saw it. I'm like, okay, is this a remake? Like you asked, is this a remake? Is this I don't know. I didn't know it was going to be a prequel, and yeah, it's. I mean, it's definitely a reasonable prequel to the film. Yeah, and yeah, so it's definitely enjoyable. I have to see it again. It's been years, but I mean, at least I remember liking it.
So you saw it when it first came out.
Pretty close. Yeah, yeah.
Did it come out in theaters or was it straight to?
Yeah, I think it also did kind of a short dismal run in theaters because I didn't see it until it came out in DVD. Not that I was regularly attending movies at the time, but yeah, short run, whatever. I don't know if I did read somewhere or hear somewhere that the advertising campaign did poorly and thus resulted in because it's kind of like it. I think it's got positive critical and fan reviews. Although I haven't seen the Rotten Tomatoes, all I know is that I mean I didn't hear things one way or another. I watched the film, I liked it, and then I heard later that a lot of people that were fans also liked it too. So definitely worth a
Fans of
watch.
the original.
Yeah, yeah.
Word.
Well, I'm gonna have to watch it then because I've only heard bad things about it. That's why I haven't put it
Oh,
on.
okay. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, they have
Well,
different crowds.
so who knows? I
Oh,
don't
come
know.
on, Smith. You're gonna let reviews get to you, man? Oh, come on.
I can
Well,
be influenced by other people, because I do have my special, like there's certain like a critic, like I don't know if they're just not, but there's certain people that I'm like, okay, they like it. I definitely got to at least check it out. So yeah, I can't say that I'm
I
uninfluenced. I
respect
think I
that.
did.
I respect
Yeah.
that. Yeah. I get that. That makes sense. Um, but yeah, man. Look, this was the thing. We all loved it. This is one of the greatest fucking horror movies of all time. You guys, if you have not seen it, guys, go watch it. Please go out there and go fucking watch it. This is such an amazing movie. It is a masterpiece. You will not. I can guarantee you. I can guarantee you. If you do not like this movie, you're an asshole. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Hat Film Panel. It's your boy Corn. Also, Mark, where can people find you?
All right. Well, if you are a regular watcher of the Half-Ass Film Panel, and I've seen the numbers, so I don't know what really that is, but just kidding. But you would know that that I had a blog, but now that blog is down. However, the Walter Paisley Cafe, I still have yet to declare it dead. I hope to bring it back as something else. I just think that people don't really read blogs anymore, and it takes a lot of time for me to do it. And if nobody's reading it, then why bother when I could just pretty much talk about movies in here? However, I am an artist of a sort. And right now I am trying to make my living off of selling art, especially through print on demand sites, uh, T Public and Redbubble and Society 6. You can find me under the names Spidal, which is spelled out for you right below my chins here or next to them. And uh, yeah, and or Mark Plaid. You can find me at those. You can also find me at Facebook, Twitter, although I don't check that much. You're better off finding me at Instagram. Go to spidal.art at spidal.art at Instagram to check me out. And if you don't remember any of this, Corn will have the links in the notes below. Thank you, Corn.
And
Thank you,
all of the
audience, for
links,
watching.
all of the links are in the description right now, y'all. So go down there. And if you guys are watching on a recording, make sure you guys go down into the links as well. I want to let you guys know we're going back to the film panel starting next week. We're gonna have some topics for y'all, so y'all better be ready, man. We come with the heat next week. There's a lot of shit to be talking about in the entertainment industry, and we got a lot of big movies and shit coming up. So and a lot of announcements coming at the end of the month with Disney's Investors Day. So it's a lot of cool shit coming up, and we're gonna be hitting that. So stay tuned with that, you guys. It's your boy Corn. This is Smith. This is Mark. Ladies and gentlemen, we are the Half-Ass Film Panel. Thank you guys for watching The Thing review from 1982. We're the Hat Film Panel, and we are OU.